Greetings all! Today, we'll be examining the common normal flying type Pokemon Taillow, the Tiny Swallow Pokemon, and its relatively uncommon evolution Swellow, the Swallow Pokemon. As members of the family Hirundinidae, the members of the Taillow family are fairly common birds that can make decent fighters for novice trainers that know how to make the most of their agility. Taillow have fairly small bodies dominated by dark blue feathers on their wings, back, twin tail feathers, and the tops of their heads. Their lower bellies and the undersides of their wings are coated in white feathers, and their chest region and face are coated with red feathers, with a small triangular outcrop at the tops of their heads. They have fairly flat, sharp yellow beaks, small blue feet with 4 stubby yellow talons, and large eyes that shine a grayish color in stark contrast to their normal body colors. Their evolved forms, Swellow, look very much the same, although they are larger in size. The main differences can be observed in their tail feathers, which are now both blue and red of about equal proportions, with the red coloring reaching their tips. There is a V of blue feathers on their chest region, and their once blue feet have turned red, with their talons in turn turning black and becoming much sharper and noticeable. They additionally have a sprig of feathers that comes off of the back of their heads, and their eyes have turned yellow and are almost always seen giving others a piercing stare for the sake of intimidation. The members of the Taillow family share much in common with normal swallows, and are among the more common of bird Pokemon known, having propagated themselves across many parts of the globe. As with similar bird Pokemon, these creatures feed primarily on insects and especially bug-type Pokemon like Wormwood, and while they might not be incredibly dangerous at a young age, they do eventually grow to be extremely efficient hunters, able to spot prey items at a great distance away and use their lithe form to dive at them at incredible speeds, making it very difficult to escape them once they have spotted their target. As with some birds though, their appearance tends to be seasonal, as they cannot continue feeding on their prey of choice if it goes into hibernation to endure cold weather, leading them to fly south for the winter to warmer locations as soon as cold weather starts to move in, often flying over 180 miles a day to reach their destination. While they don't get much in the way of move variety as a result of their simplistic body structure, these birds more than make up for this with an indomitable fighting spirit, as they are incredibly gutsy and will challenge any creature that gets in their way or otherwise seems threatening to them, even if they have already lost to them or are clearly outmatched. This is especially the case with Taillow, but because of their small size, they are rarely able to actually do anything to larger opponents and fortified birds like Skarmory, and they are in turn more often ignored, or at least until they become an extreme agitation and likely end up as a meal for said opponent. Not surprisingly, their incredibly tenacious nature permanently grants them the Guts ability as their only base ability, though if they are particularly rambunctious, they may also possess Scrappy as a hidden ability. In terms of their stats, and looking at Swellow, these birds tend to underperform across the board with base stats that are below average almost entirely. The only exceptions are that they have an above average base special attack stat for a fully evolved normal type Pokemon, and an above average base speed stat for a fully evolved normal and flying type Pokemon. In fact, Swellow possessed the highest base speed stat out of all non-legendary normal type Pokemon, and can use their agility to get the first strike in most fights without trouble, even if its overall impact may not be that great. While most bird Pokemon have the chance to develop a little in the nest before leaving it, when Taillow are born, they are only allowed to stay in the nest for a few days before they are kicked out and are forced to fend for themselves. They tend to learn how to fly quickly and mature into their adult form fairly rapidly though, so this isn't a huge problem for them in most cases, but it can leave them with some psychological feelings of abandonment that can make them cry when they are feeling lonesome. While these small birds are generally quite hardy and will stand up to just about any opponent that dares to place themselves in a threatening posture, these birds are still highly susceptible to hunger because of their young age, and are unable to stand the feeling so much that they will cry out in agony the moment they feel even the slightest of hunger pains in their body. Even so, they can make good starting partners for young trainers as they are fairly intelligent and follow orders readily. but they are not so loved by farmers, as they have a tendency to attack and eat crops when there are not any bugs around for them to feed on, making them a pest that can be hard to curb as a result of their gutsy nature and unwillingness to ever back down from a fight. Although Swellow follow many of the same behavioral tendencies as Taillow, they are far more efficient hunters and are able to use their talons and beak more effectively to take on opponents and prey alike, the latter being signified by the acquisition of the capacity to learn the pluck attack after evolving. These birds fly in elegant, graceful circles in the sky far above the heads of onlookers when hunting, circling around a given area until they find a suitable prey item. Once they have spotted something, these birds will tuck in their wings and dive bomb the target at an incredible speed, often doing so at a steep angle to minimize the distance needed to close the gap between the two, and with such precision that they never miss their target. Once a prey item is in the grasp of these birds, their fate is sealed, as these birds have incredibly strong muscles in their legs and feet that allow them to hold onto just about anything tightly without ever letting go, and they have enough power to crush a tin can with ease. Aside from their hunting practices though, Swellow are also noted for their preening habits, as they cannot stand to be dirty as it creates drag on their form when they dive, so they will constantly preen their glossy feathers when perching, and will often preen the feathers of other nearby Swellow diligently as both a greeting and a mutual exchange for having their own feathers cleaned in order to get the spots on their backs and wings where their heads cannot reach. They rarely try to hide this behavior, making it a great sight for those that actively watch these creatures. This is a prime way to tell if these birds are in good health, as they will only stop this behavior when they feel sick or are on the verge of dying, which can be a problem as these birds have been known to lash out violently at others in their last moments before collapsing. Their tail feathers further serve as an indicator of health, for if they are standing up and straight, it is a sign of good health. They will only droop if the Swellow possessing them is feeling unwell and needs immediate medical care. As a result of their bright plumage, these birds are quite popular among bird watchers and take great pride in their looks, though this ego can sometimes leave them vulnerable to attack if they cannot get over themselves to tackle an opponent in a fight. While they might not stand out much from regular birds in behavior and physical attributes, the members of the Taillow family can still make good partners for novice trainers looking to experiment with the flying type. It's likely that they will be outclassed for the most part by other stronger bird Pokemon eventually, but their incredible speed can still give them an edge in battle against most slower moving Pokemon. If you're looking to take care of one of these birds as a trainer or even just as a pet though, make sure that you give them plenty of open space and allow them to roam free. They might be easy to train, but it's unlikely that you will have a fun time if they decide to spread their wings indoors and become impossible to keep up with as they knock around everything in your home. Thank you all for watching this video. It is always an honor to be able to speak with you all on the subject of Pokemon in a way that brings me great joy and happiness in my work. If you would like to keep tabs on past and future work, click that subscribe button, check out my work on DeviantArt, and don't be shy about following me on Twitter, where you can find pertinent announcements on upcoming work before it is officially posted. Links to both can be found in the video description. If you would like to support my work and help Miguel and I continue to produce more content for you and improve upon our presentation, please visit us at my Patreon page, which you can also find a link to in the video description.
Yeah, no.
With that, I thank you for watching and I wish you well.